Hi everyone, welcome back to the Movie Reviewers 100. My name's Scott, also known as Cineram. I do the reviews here on Thursdays, and this week our theme is films about musicians. Now, originally I wanted to cover the Pearl Jam documentary that was just released. It was directed by Cameron Crowe. Unfortunately, due to some short-sightedness and ill planning on my part, I was not able to attend because all the screenings I went to were sold out. Which is too bad, really, because although I'm a fan of that genre of music, I'm not all that familiar with Pearl Jam itself. Don't know a lot of their songs. I wanted the opportunity to learn more about them, but I missed it. So instead, I decided to rewatch a documentary about Metallica, which was called Some Kind of Monster. Some Kind of Monster is the name of one of the tracks off of their album called Saint Anger, which was released in 2003. And the band decided to hire a documentary filmmaker by the name of Joe Berliner, who did the film Paradise Lost about the hard rock kids who were accused and convicted of murder. He directed this whole documentary about them that's really amazing. So Metallica decided to hire him to make a documentary about their new album, the album that they were about to start recording. They also hired a guy named Phil Toll, who was a therapist for sports teams. The guy's job basically is to help these guys with huge egos get along with each other, and Metallica kind of needed someone like him at that point. They had recently lost their bass player, Dave Mustaine, who wanted a project where he had more creative input. Apparently the practice of Metallica was to have the lead guys, James Hetfield and Lars Ulrich, write these songs and write the music, and then bring it to the other guys in the band so they would play. And Dave Mustaine wanted to start his own group where he had more creative input, so they were without a bass player. So their manager basically fills in as the bass player during the rehearsals and recordings and what have you. But in the meantime, they have to find a new bass player. That actually isn't something that's resolved until the end of the film. In the meantime, they have a lot of interpersonal conflicts that they have problems with. James Hetfield has a lot of alcohol abuse issues. He goes into rehab for about 6 months. There's a period in which he's basically missing in action for an entire year. The film basically counts from the start of the recording session and goes almost a full 2 years of them recording and getting together and not getting together and not getting along and trying to work stuff out with the aid of this group therapist. James Hetfield, he's the guy, he's the front man for the band, and he's got this very aggressive voice, you know, exit light, enter night, you know, but he's actually a pretty soft-spoken guy in person, you know. And the really intimidating guy in the band for me was Lars Ulrich, who was the drummer, and he's sort of the public spokesman for the band. He's just always looks like he's angry about something, you know. I don't know what it is exactly. I have to say I'm not really a fan of this type of music, heavy metal, you know, and watching this documentary doesn't change anything about that. I'm not interested in really going out and seeing or hearing more Metallica music because of this. But it's just a really interesting look into how a band works, or at least how this particular band works. You know, they have to find the bass player, but they also have to deal with just all the stuff going on between them, all these expectations. The nicest guy in the band is as one of the guitarists, Kirk Hammett, and you know, he's fairly pleasant. So he's usually the guy with the least amount of problems, but he also doesn't. You know, at times I think he feels like overshadowed by the huge baggage that the other guys bring to the group, especially Lars Ulrich. You know, he's just he's got this kind of intimidating father. So yeah, it's really interesting. It's really interesting look at how a band works and how, you know, an album is produced. They did something a little different with their creative process this time around. They decided all just basically sit in a room and all of them write lyrics and then just bounce them around to see what would work. And then they tried different musical arrangements and what have you, and it became much more of a collaborative process, the making of this album, than it was in the past. Once James Hetfield gets his substance abuse issues under control. You know, he's away in rehab for a long time, and then he comes back, and then they start being productive again, which is nice. There's family issues that they have to deal with as well. You know, all kinds of stuff. It's really an in-depth look at these guys' lives during this period of time, and it also goes back to you know, some of the trouble that they've had in the past. They lost their original bass player within the first few years of really having success as a band, so they had to find Mustaine. I guess he never really quite fit in with the group. You know, it was never a situation where it was the four guys through thick and thin all the way through the years. You know, since they've had these changes in their bass players, they haven't, I don't know, I guess found the stability, but they also did a lot of partying, you know, and especially when they were on the road. That's one of the risks of being in an incredibly popular rock band, and by any argument, they are the biggest heavy metal band in the world. Yeah, this documentary I think came out in 2004, 2005. So it's been a few years since this album came out. I really haven't kept up with the band since then and what they put out. Like I said, I'm not really a fan of their music. It's hard not to be a little bit enthusiastic about it when you see the huge stadium crowds, just everybody just rocking out to these hard-driving songs. I do have a favorite Metallica song off of their early 90s album called... what's the name of the song again? Oh, I keep thinking of Unforgiven, which is not the one that I'm thinking of. That one's okay, but I'm not a big fan of that. It's called Nothing Else Matters. That's right. It's one of their quieter tunes. I like the quieter stuff, you know, the more mellow stuff. It has its moment of rocking, but it's a more mellow tune from them. Anyway, that's my recommendation right there. So I do a documentary for once. You can't really look at it in the same way as you would a narrative film, because, you know, they're just taking whatever footage they have and putting it together. And they did a really good job of it. There's actually a co-director. I don't know the other guy, but the primary director is Joe Berliner, who's a well-known documentarian. So thank you very much for watching. That's my review for this week. We will probably have another theme starting tomorrow and Friday. We shall see about that. So thanks very much for watching. Take it easy.